IEI, INFp, DE romantic, lyricist, archetype Sergeyasenen.
Jung introverted, intuitive, ethical, irrational. Renin dynamic, yielding, aristocratic, tactical, emotivist, farsighted, Mary decisive, positivist, result asking. Gulenko forms of thinking, vortical, synergetic, cognition, communication style, sincere, romance style, victim. Groups beta quadra, NF humanitarians, IP temperament. Introverted. He focuses on his reaction to the outside world. His perception of the world is a component of himself. He is interested in the interactions between the self and the outside world. Instead of manipulating real objects, uses imagination and reflection. Intuitive. He is more idealistic and visionary. More concerned with ideas and concepts than with surroundings. Sees the big picture rather than the details. Ethical. He notices feelings, emotions, and concerns, as well as interpersonal relationships. He tends to base his decisions on his own emotions. Prefer ethical assessments, good or bad. Persuasion is preferred over argumentation. Irrational. He takes in information without assessing it or relating it to his or her own experience. Wait and see or make a more spontaneous decision. Tolerance to stress is high. Adaptable and forgiving. Dynamic. Perceive events in a continuous sequence, continuous changes rather than discrete states. Tactical. Finds it easier to change the goal than the method. Emotivist. Tend to concentrate foremost on the emotional background of interaction, with business a secondary concern. Positivist. First, notices the positives, the weather is good, socially, and intellectually more trusting. Trusts at first, becomes critical later. Asking. Typically speaks in questions. Prefers dialogues to monologues. Tends to use short remarks, because they are more interested in hearing the other person than self-expression. Merry middle dot. They are good at noticing the general emotional background at contact with people. They have personal definition to the terminology, so they compare their understanding of them. Decisive middle dot. Natural state is readiness. Aristocratic middle dot. Sees people as members of a group, hierarchy, or social network rather than individuals. Yielding middle dot. It is easy to change his mind. Resources are personal, but ideas are freely shared and manipulated. Farsighted middle dot. They strives to foresee everything. Result middle dot. Can multitask. Do things randomly. Focus on beginning and ending of task. Romance style, victim. He has initial doubts about the extent to which he is interested in someone else and is hesitant to disclose this interest. Preferring partners who inspire awe in terms of power, physical presence, and the like. Appreciation for the power dynamics present when interacting with such partners. Communication style, sincere. This style is defined by a passive-aggressive search for feelings and the use of indirect signals to express his openness to relational contact. Forms of thinking, vortical synergetic cognition. The science of how order emerges from chaos is known as synergetics. In ancient Greek, the word synergy means coordinated action. It is known as chaos theory or nonlinear dynamics in the West. Synergetics is distinguished by non-equilibrium, nonlinear, and unstable dissipative states. Synergetics think fluidly as dynamics, with tints of one thought cascading into another. Positivists gravitate toward a point of attraction. They frequently turn backwards and jump over previous levels as involutionary types, displacing the flow of their thoughts like a vortex or fluctuating storm. Beta quadra. Merry decisive aristocratic. They prefer situations in which the power structure and hierarchy are clearly defined, and ambiguities are minimized. People who share their beliefs and express them with obvious enthusiasm and emotion energize them. They value feelings more when they are demonstrated through clear emotional expression. They raise the intensity of their emotional expression in order to elicit a response from others, aristocracy. NF humanitarians. Their interactions will be shaped by shared spiritual, philosophical, artistic, literary, or humanitarian interests. Religious discussion groups, humanitarian and charity organizations, and literary and musical activity groups are all common examples of such clubs. IP temperament. He perceives reality as a constant, gradual, and often imperceptible change. This results in a relaxed tendency to take things as they come and adapt to them. IPs, as introverts, are relaxed and passive when it comes to initiating relationships with others. IEI Model A. NI Program. Ego mental conscious strong valuable verbal inert acceptable 4D. FE creative. Ego mental conscious valuable verbal strong contact productive 3D. SI role. Super ego mental conscious non-valuable non-verbal weak contact acceptable 2D. TE trouble zone. Super ego mental conscious non-valuable non-verbal weak productive 1D. SE suggestive area. Super ID unconscious vital valuable verbal weak contact acceptable 1D. TI activating zone. Super ID vital unconscious valuable verbal weak inert productive 2D. NE ignoring zone. ID vital unconscious non-valuable non-verbal strong inert acceptable 3D. FI standards area. ID vital unconscious non-valuable strong contact productive nonverbal 4D. IEI functions. NI program. He has a highly developed imagination and a mind that is incredibly unique. Despite a lack of direct attention to the world around him, he was able to transcend the axis of time and understand cause and effect relationships, resulting in the ability to accurately predict general future trends and outcomes of certain events. FE creative. He is sensitive to the emotional climate. A positive emotional environment is essential for his sense of well-being and inner peace, which is reflected in his attempts to be on good terms with those with whom he interacts or seeks distance or protection from. SI role. He may choose to do little to interact with the outside world if he is not interested in relaxation or enjoyment. TE trouble zone. He is skeptical of basing your beliefs, arguments, and actions on external sources of information, and he dislikes dealing with issues involving efficiency, productivity, and the factual accuracy of statements made. Statements are made based on input from other functions, rather than double checks against external facts. SE suggestive. He requires an external source of spontaneity and activity. With such a high level of spontaneity introduced into his life, he may lack the ability to make important decisions and may struggle to set and complete the short-term projects that lead to it. TI activating zone. He seeks clarity in his system of beliefs and understanding, and he enjoys entertaining new concepts and participating in philosophical discussions that introduce new concepts and systems of thought. He is unsure of the logic that underpins his actions. NE ignoring zone. He understands external connections made between various areas of knowledge and experience, but prefers to focus on hidden connections that have a special significance and aid in understanding the mysterious, hidden nature of things. FI standards area. He understands personal connections between two people well, but he considers them less important than broader emotional interactions in the context of a larger group. Furthermore, those personal ties are viewed as contingent, dynamic, and not static. IEI intertype relationship. Identical IEI. Dual SLE. Active ELSI. Mirror EIE. Mirage ILE. Beneficiary LII. Supervise EESE. Superego SLI. Extinguishment IEE. Quasi-identical EII. Conflictor LSE. Kindred ILI. Semi-dual SEE. Benefactor ESI. Supervisor LIE.